Hi, this is Chuck Alver. Welcome to this week's Hidden Wealth Solution Review. Well, many of you have reached out and said, what are the alternatives? And when I talk about alternatives, I'm going to teach this coming Tuesday at retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. And here's some key things that helped a lot of people, especially getting through this last year. One is called institutional money management, where you're actually having proactive management dictated by your defined risk. The other thing we're going to talk about that has been a great saving grace to a number of our clients and new clients has been indexing. And this is a bond asset class alternative or replacement that our institutional team has been able to find with getting equity-like returns, not low bond yield returns, and without the interest rate risk or the duration risk that we're seeing, because a lot of bonds did very, very poorly last year. And that was a lot of people's go-to safe haven. And indexing provides an upside without a downside and actually takes advantage of markets like this. The other thing we're going to talk about are taxes. Now, a lot of the two most popular things we're hearing are what are some alternatives, because obviously the traditional stock market and brokerage accounts are just not getting that done. And a lot of people are forecasting that it could be a pretty wild ride. And I want to talk to you about the things that we've been able to take advantage of for our clients and ourselves that have enabled to have, for example, one thing we'll talk about is a 18% yield last year in a very dismal regular stock market performance, but getting that outside of the direct correlation to the stock market. In other words, the top growth industries that are an alternative to Wall Street on and available on Main Street. But getting more return with less risk and less cost is actually a good thing, but not if you're not addressing the taxes. So many of you, and the number one request we get is, how can we save taxes? What can we do? Folks, the time to take advantage of taxes are right now. Stop letting taxes take advantage of you. Go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. And let me talk to you about a client, her first required minimum distribution. At a time, unfortunately, she had lost her husband. Now she goes from a joint tax filer to a single tax filer, which is a penalty unto itself. And her required minimum distribution, first one, when the government forces us to start taking money out of these accounts. So don't put this off, folks. Take advantage of what you can take advantage of now. Her required minimum distribution was going to put her up 2 tax brackets, and cost her a fortune of taxes. Now, here's what she learned. She learned how to use one strategy I'll teach you this Tuesday to create a tax deduction, typically anywhere between 75 and 80% in the first year. And it's using alternatives to the general or direct stock market with things that are predictable, things that you and I get a tax break for, like energy or housing. And you can put this to work for yourself. Now, using that deduction, she used that to lower her taxes. Several of you have used that deduction or are now learning to use that deduction, especially taking advantage before tax rates go up, to use that to offset the tax by converting your IRAs to Roth. The number one thing we get is, how do I protect myself from taxes, which gives us more to spend and more to leave, but how do I not leave a big tax burden to my family? Some of you don't even need the money out of your IRAs, but the government's forcing you. Some of you don't realize how big that tax is going to be, and you can get started to take advantage of lowering that tax and sometimes eliminating it right away. Go to retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com, and learn how much lower your taxes can be and how much better your alternatives can be, in what you can learn, especially early on before the market goes through its gyrations right now in 2023. retirementprotected.com.